Good evening. This is Dante Steele with Volt News Network, here to bring you tonight's top stories. Tonight we will be covering some intense stories. A Russian media figure has threatened nuclear strikes on the U.S. in retaliation for comments by a former NATO general about Ukraine needing to retake Crimea from Russian occupation. Igor Korotchenko, editor of Russia's national defense newspaper, claimed on state TV that NATO support for Ukraine poses an existential threat to Russia, warranting a nuclear response. He suggested Russia could conduct preventative limited nuclear strikes on U.S. targets if NATO assistance to Ukraine crosses Moscow's red lines, such as threatening Crimea. U.S. officials dismissed the nuclear threats as unlikely to materialize, but experts warn Russia may view the conflict as justifying nuclear weapons use if it believes NATO actions in Ukraine jeopardize Russia's existence. The threats highlight the potential for miscalculation and escalation regarding NATO involvement in the war. Ukraine accused Russia of drones violating the airspace of NATO member Romania during attacks near their shared Danube River border area. Ukraine stated Russian drones crossed into Romanian airspace without permission, with one reportedly crashing or malfunctioning in Romania near Ukraine's Izmail port. Romania firmly denied Russian drones struck its territory. The incident highlights risks of unintended spillover from the war as Russia employs long-range drones across Ukraine. NATO could perceive unauthorized drone flights into member airspace as requiring investigation and collective response under its Mutual Defense Pact. Both sides likely seek to avoid directly implicating NATO in the conflict. Further details are needed to determine whether Russia deliberately struck targets in Romania or simply violated its airspace. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un reportedly plans to travel to Russia and meet President Vladimir Putin, which would be Kim's first overseas trip since the pandemic began. U.S. officials say the meeting agenda includes North Korea potentially providing artillery munitions and other weapons to Russia for use in its war in Ukraine. In return, North Korea wants Russian technology transfers to advance its nuclear and military programs. Talks are ensuing for nations around the globe to consider new sanctions on both of the countries in response. That's it for your report on the top stories tonight. These stories are not front page on any establishment news sources tonight, and we think you will benefit from Volt News Network bringing you the most important stories every single day of the week. Stick around for more consistent coverage you won't want to miss. Good night.